Hi, Perrin. Welcome to DaddyCast Math. You are on your textbook pages 85 and 86, and we're continuing on with fractions. So let's start out here with problem number 7. And the problem is subtract 1/8 from 1/2. So go ahead and write that down in your notebook. And let's do it together. So subtract 1/8 from 1/2. That means we're taking 1/2. We're subtracting 1/8. Now maybe right off the bat we can see, oh, this is going to be hard because the denominator is not the same. To do addition and subtraction, you need the denominators to be the same. Let's draw a picture of what this would look like if they were strawberry rhubarb pies. So for the first problem, we've got a strawberry rhubarb pie divided in half. We're taking away 1/8 of the strawberry rhubarb pie. How much is that of the pie? That's the question. So here's the pie divided into quarters. Let's see here. 4 pieces, and then divide each of those pieces in half again. And we'll get 8s. So somebody's like going to eat 1/8 of a pie or something. How much of the pie is left? So the way you can do it without thinking about pies is we're going to turn the denominator into 8. So we have 1/2. Let's see, I need to put it on a little more different color. We're going to do 1/2 and convert that times what into another fraction. It asks you what is the fraction here. And then we're going to turn it into 8. So we can write the 8. So we need to write the same number here and here to do a multiply. What times 2 times what is 8? Okay, 2 times 4 is 8. So we're going to do the same thing up here, times 4. 1 times 4 is 4. 4/8. That makes it easy to do the problem. So we have 4/8 minus 1/8 equals, the 8 stays the same denominator. And we subtract up here 4 minus 1, 3/8, right? So that's the answer, but let's take another way of looking at this. So we have the pie divided into half. We're going to take away an 8. So we have to imagine the pie over here divided into 8. It's only 2 right now. If we want it divided into 8, we're going to have 4 times as many divisions. Got 1, 2, I don't really know if this is the right way to think about it, 3, and 4. Anyways, you had 2 pieces before. Now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this whole side of the pie is a half. I should have shaded it to start out with. So this is 1/2. How many sections are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we made the number of divisions be 4 times as many. And since we started out like this, with just one division, and it was one side of the division, we break that into 4 times as many divisions. So instead of just a single one, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the correlation. There's 4 times as many total divisions and 4 times as many in the parts that we're talking about. All right. So the answer you should have gotten is 3/8. Let me know if you have any questions about that one. So then we'll move on to problem 8. Let's clear this screen over here. And it says subtract 1/2 from 7/8. So before it's kind of the opposite way. Before we're subtracting an eighth from a half. Now we're subtracting a half from 7/8. And this time they're having us use a bar chart. So we are going to have two things that are the same size. Remember we talked about that. Two things that are the same size. Well, or they're just saying in one chart you can do it, I guess. Or you can do it in two. Depends on how you want to think about it. I wonder if there should be a square tool in this one. All right, so we're going to take away a half from 7/8. So here we're going to say half. Say this is the half. Up here, so this is divided into two pieces and one of the two. So one of the two, 1/2. And here we're going to have it divided into 8 pieces. First we'll divide it in half, then we'll divide it in quarters, and then if we divide each quarter in half, that'll be 8. Approximately. And so they say 7/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7/8. You don't always have to write a fraction like that, although probably you should in your book and in math, but you can also write it sort of, if you have to fit it into one line, you can write 7/8 like that. 7/8. So we have 7/8 and we have 1/2. Well, it's going to be the same kind of problem. We need to turn these both into eighths. Can't really reduce this fraction to be halves, so you have to, what do you want to call it, expand this fraction to be eighths. I'm going to rename the fraction. So 2 times what is 8? Let's write it out down here. 1/2. And this is going to be either division or multiplication. Here it's going to be multiplication. Times, let's see, 2 times what is 8? 2 times 4 is 8. And so then up here we're going to do 1 times 4, and that's going to be 4/8. Oh, that's just the same as our last problem. 1/2 is 4/8 again. So we can come up here and we can turn this fraction bar. I wonder if we can do a really light color. No, I need like an eraser. Split it up into 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put some color back in. So we have 4/8. It's the same size as 1/2. See, it's the same size, but we just chopped the whole thing up into more pieces. I guess we need to make these over here too. Those aren't part of our 1/2. Those are the other half. So we have our 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now we can see that 7/8 minus 1, 2, 3, 4/8. Let's write out that part of the problem way down here. 7/8 minus 4/8. So it's going to equal how many? Some number of eighths. 7 minus 4 is 3. 3/8. Another way we could look at this is 7/8 minus 4/8. These ones are going to cancel each other out. Cancel, 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 cancel. That's these ones taking away these ones. And then we could even go ahead and just erase them because they're gone. Erase erase these. What's left? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3/8. All right, that was problem 8. Does that make sense to you? I'm doing it some weird way and you don't understand, come let me know. All right, let's flip to the next page, do number 10. You're going to have to come back and do 9 or whatever. But here we're going to Subtract 5/12 from 3/4. And I'll look at the book real quick. Okay, so this is a similar idea. Here, I'll give you 10 seconds to pause and write down number 10 in your notebook and figure it out. And then when you're done, unpause and we'll go over it together. Okay, you're back. So let's see, I don't know if I'm going to draw this one out or not. So we've got 5/12 subtracted from 3/4. Well, let's draw that anyways. So we've got this bar that represents the thing. It's chopped into 4 pieces. And it's saying 3/4 of those, so this is going to be 3/4. It's kind of hard to read that. 3 divided by 4, 3/4. So we're going to have 1 filled out, 2 filled out, 3 filled out. And we're going to take away 5/12. We're going to draw another bar to represent, I wish I could draw straight. We're going to draw another bar. This is so bad. I need to use a ruler here on the computer. All right. So let's first divide it into half. Now we have 2 parts. We're going to divide it into quarters. I've got 4 parts. I'm going to divide each of these into 3 parts. 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And it's saying that we're taking away 5/12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, that is 5/12. All right, well, we can't do 3/4 minus 5/12 very well in our head because they don't have the same denominator. So we're going to take 3/4 and we're going to turn it into something that has a denominator of 12. So what is it equal to? So do this little arrow thing to help you remember doing the same on the top and on the bottom. 4 times what is 12? Well, 4 times 3. 4 times 3 equals 12. So we need to do the same at the top so that the ratio between the top and the bottom stays the same. So 3 times 3 is 9. 9/12. All right, so that's one way to look at it. And then up in our bar chart up here, we can take each of these quarter sections and multiply it into, instead of just 1 section each, it'd be 3 sections each. So instead of 1 section, now it's 1, 2, 3. Instead of 1 section, now it's 1, 2, 3. Instead of 1 section, now it's 1, 2, 3. And then instead of 1 section, now it's 1, 2, 3. All right, so our 3/4 should turn into 9/12. Let's see if that's the case. We'll go up here and we'll count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 parts shaded out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is the way we could do it on the bar chart. It's the same thing down here in math. So I'm going to take this 9/12. It's the same as 3/4. We're going to subtract our 5/12. We're going to get 9 minus 5 is 4/12. We want to use our eraser up here. Say that this is what we're taking away from this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to take away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what's left over is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 out of 12 because it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We've only got 4 left. All right. Now here's where it gets tricky is sometimes your math book will ask you to reduce the fraction. Well, it didn't ask you to reduce the fraction, but that's normally the case. If it doesn't tell you to leave the fraction unreduced, you should always reduce it to its simplest form. So let's take 4/12. I'm just going to clear the screen here and we'll write 4/12. 4/12. So if you didn't already reduce the fraction, I want you to try to reduce it. If you need more time, just pause. Here's your 10 seconds for pausing or answering. Okay, you should be back. So what you can do here, find the common factors. So what is a common factor of 4 and 12? Well, you might be able to figure out the really easy one to do it in one fell swoop. We'll do that next. But first, let's say, let's start with the simplest one we can think of is 2. Because this is an even number and this is an even number. So we're going to divide by 2. We're going to divide by 2. And we're going to get 4 divided by 2 is 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. All right, can you think of another number that these could also be reduced by? Can do another one. Divided by 2 and another divided by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 divided by 2 is 3. You get 1/3. All right, that's the simplest form, the most reduced fraction of 4/12. But let's go back in time. All right, I can't remember any more go backs, any more undos. All right, so let's say we got 4/12, and maybe you already thought of this yourself. Well, 4/12 is divisible by 4, right? And 4 is divisible by 4, so you can divide by 4. Wrong pen. Divide by 4. Divide by 4. Of course, the bigger common factor you can think of, the easier it's going to be. You don't have to do as many steps. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So that's the same answer. Just instead of factoring it out twice, you're just factoring it out once. The common factor is either 2 times 2 or it's 4 for both. All right. If that doesn't make any sense, come and ask me. Oh, here, let's look over here. They had this example. You have the 12 broken up into 12. You can break it up into 3 equal pieces. That's how you know you're getting thirds at the bottom. And if you're reducing the total number of units from 12 into just 3, that's a division of 4. So then 1, 2, 3, 4 goes into 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 goes into 1. And 1, 2, 3, 4 goes into 1. Each one is still the same size of giant Tootsie Roll or whatever this is, giant lime green Tootsie Roll. But now it's broken up into smaller sections, right? Into thirds here instead of into 12ths here. Okay, so go ahead and in your notebook, do problem. Which one didn't we do? Do problem 9 on page 85. Do problem 11 and all of these problems in 12 on page 86. Please write out your work. Show the little multiplication or division things when you're doing reduction or subtraction. Or if you don't want to write those out, at least do like this. If you do 4/12 and you want to then, like, if you get an answer, 4/12, and then you want to show that you're reducing it, afterwards just write another equal sign that says equals 1/3. So for example, let's just say you had, what is the problem we just did? You need to at least show each step along the way. So you need to write for problem 10, 3/4 minus 5/12 equals. And if you're going to do it on the same line or on the second line, if you want to do this part in your head, that's fine, but at least write out the problem again. That this is 12ths. How many 12ths? Let's see, times 3 times 3, 9/12. So write out the whole problem again with the converted fraction minus 5/12 equals, and then you would get 4/12. And then you would write that that reduces to 1/3. Okay, I need you to at least write this number of steps so that we'll have some way to guess what went wrong if you get the wrong answer. So rewrite the equation with the changed fraction. And then rewrite the equation with the answer, and if it's reducible, rewrite the equation with the reduced, what do they call it? The most reduced form. I'm having a hard time. Simplest form. The simplest form of fraction. All right, so number 9 on page 85 and number 11 and 12 on page 86. And then I will tab the problems that you have in your workbook, which is on pages 73 and 74. All right, go forth and do fraction math. Yay! Woo, you can do it. All right, talk to you later, Perrin.